Okay, so tonight we're going to get started in supported fish. If it's been a bit since you've done that or just need a refresher, if you do have blocks, you can take 2 blocks and put them in a T so that like one's right behind your head and the other's behind your back. If you just have pillows, you can grab onto either like a bed pillow, or if you just have like a couple throw pillows, you'll just want to create some kind of prop for your back so that when you lean over them, your chest can expand. So if you've just joined, we're getting started in supported fish tonight. Grab onto a couple pillows or a couple blocks. And once you've got your prop situated at the top of your mat, you'll just come down to your back, and your head can either rest on the other prop. So if you have a couple pillows, or if you want to use one longer pillow, and then your chest will open up on top of the prop too. And then you have a couple options for the bottom part of your body. So you can either come to Supta Baddha Konasana, legs, you can stretch out, totally up to you. If you need more of an opening tonight, if you really want to get a chest opener, especially if you're at a computer all day and just need to open up, you can start to goal post your arms, and your forearms likely won't touch the floor right now, but as you open up over your props and we hang out here for a couple minutes, you might find that you can get closer to the ground. So finding a shape that feels good to you, really good heart opener to get us started. So once you have found your shape, just start to settle in. And typically when we get started in restorative, we tend to be really fidgety just as we get into our posture. So once you do find a cozy shape on your props, just really try to stay still. Reminder that this next 60 minutes is your time. You signed up for class tonight for a reason, and everything else can wait. So you have this next hour to really reset your body, restore. It seems like, such a commitment when you sign up, but as you're here, hopefully the benefits that you get out of class and just what you can take with you to use throughout your week is so worth it. So just really try to open up. And on every exhale, just imagine that you're releasing something out. So start to pay attention to your breath. And this might be a good opportunity to bring your hands to your belly, just to really feel the rise and fall of your belly. Typically, we do so much breathing in our chest area. We don't even expand our bellies out to breathe in all that good air. So just see if you can focus on your breath as we start our class tonight. And also, as we're laying here, just think of something that you still need for your week. So a word, a phrase, something might come to mind instantly, or you might need to sit with that for a little bit just to see what it is. Maybe it's just how you want to feel for the rest of your week. So maybe that's a sense of calm. Maybe you need to feel more grounded. You just had a crazy week. Maybe you need to feel lighter because you've been holding on to stuff and you just need the opportunity to reset and move on with your week. Let whatever happened before you joined class tonight go. As always, I will remind you and let you know when we're about halfway through each posture. So if you do need to make any adjustments or modifications throughout class tonight, you can certainly do that. And another gentle reminder that this is your class. So if there's something that I'm calling for that it doesn't feel good in your body, or just not feeling it tonight, you'd rather do something else, this is your class. So no judgment, you do what feels good to you. I will always honor that. And, as you're in class tonight, you could stay in Shavasana for the entire 60 minutes, and that is restorative yoga. So Just be kind to yourself. Use props when you need them. And just listen to your body. You know yourself best. And we're halfway through this opening posture. So you might find that if you have goal posted your arms, that your forearms are a little bit closer to the ground than when you first started. And just seeing where you can continue to relax and release any tension in your body. So if you're holding on to tension in your face, just see if you can soften face muscles just a little bit. Or perhaps you're holding on to some tension in your shoulder area and this opener is just a little bit too much for you. You can back off and just bring your hands down to your side or to your belly. And just paying attention to your class and what you need. Take a deep breath in. And a big open mouth, sigh out. Let something go. Breathe in something awesome, something that you still need for your day or your week. And again, sigh out something you no longer need. And your next inhale, just roll to one side or the other just to remove your props. And when you're ready, you can slowly come up to a seated position. So take your time getting there. And we are going to take wide-legged forward fold, but we're gonna go to one side and then the other. So good opportunity to grab onto some blocks, especially if you've got really tight hamstrings, tight low back issues like I do. You might want to either stack up props right next to your leg. We're gonna go towards the right first. So you'll just come to a wide-legged position and you can really challenge yourself by placing one hand in front of you, one behind. Lift yourself up completely off of the floor and then scoot yourself forward a couple inches and then lower back down just to really get into a deep V with your legs. And I'm just gonna move my stuff out of the way. And then you'll bring your props towards the right-hand side. And when you're ready, just start to shift your torso towards the right leg. Inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up. Exhale, reach towards your right toes as far as you can. And then as you feel your spine start to round, just bring yourself down to your props. And if you've got extra pillows or blocks, you can stack them up to rest your forehead on something if that feels better for you. You can always stack your pillows on top of your thigh. You can stack pillows so that your forearms can rest down on something and you can just let your head and neck hang heavy. That's totally your choice. And this will really help us start to open up our hamstring area, low back, especially if you sit all day. A lot of this will be extra tight. So for me, I have not gotten too much movement in. I've been really trying to go for a walk after I log off for my work day just to get some steps in because I've noticed that now that I'm not in the office, I hardly move at all throughout the day. So if that's you and you haven't been good about taking breaks, getting up, going for a walk, or just moving around, this might feel extra hard tonight. So just use extra props if you need, give yourself some grace if you need. If you hate forward folds, I'm sorry because we have to do two, but it will really help to open up your low back and your hips and your hamstrings and a bunch of other stuff. So breathe in, and as you exhale, just try to lower your chest more towards your right thigh. So just imagine that by hanging out here, you're really starting to open up and that you can relax enough to let yourself fold even deeper in this forward fold. And as long as you surrender into them instead of resisting them, forward folds are really calming for your body and your mind. They help reset our parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're stressed, anxious, run around a lot all day, you're always on the go, this is a really great counter pose for you. And like I said, as long as you accept it instead of try to resist it. So just see where you can relax. You might be holding on to some tension, might not fully be relaxing in this forward fold as much as you can relax in one. So just really try to, on every exhale, just imagine that you're melting closer to the earth. And we're already more than halfway done. So if that helps bring a smile to your face, just knowing that we're almost out of this side. Keep breathing here. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and try to relax the muscles in your face. Take a deep breath in. And big, open mouth, sigh out, let it go. And your next inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly start to make your way out. And before we head to the other side, just move one of your props out of the way, or both if they're in your way. You can just bring your knees in and plant your feet, and then just windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just release that side. And then when you're ready, we're gonna head over to the other side. So you come back out to a wide V. You might want to do that trick again where you place one hand in front, one in behind, lift yourself up and scoot forward just to get really deep into this wide-legged forward fold. And then you'll set your props up any way that feels cozy to you. So you might need a few minutes here to get situated. But if you feel like you're in a good spot, got your props in place, inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up. Exhale, start to slowly reach towards your left toes. Reach, reach, reach. And then when you can't reach any further, let yourself hang heavy on this side. So your chest will come as close as possible to your left thigh. You might want to rest your head on props if you can stack up a couple pillows or blocks, or you can rest your forearms down as long as it's comfortable for you to let your head and neck hang heavy. So just really relax your head and neck, taking your gaze towards your thigh, and then slowly close your eyes once you have found a good, comfortable shape. And as you know, we won't hold this forever. We got out of the other side. And each side is going to feel different to you. So typically we're tighter on one side of our body than the other. You might find that you can get deeper over on this side, or maybe not as far as you did. You might need more props or less props. So just listen to that. Don't try to strain your neck or your back. And just really release down as much as you can on every exhale. We're halfway through this side. So if you have experienced enough opening and you can try to bring your chest just a little bit more towards your thigh. So just imagine that you're melting more into this forward fold. And again, don't let your ego get in the way. If you're cozy where you're at and you don't want to push yourself, just stay where you are. And if you did try to go further and it's just not feeling quite right, just back off and go back to a position that feels good for you. Use your breath. Your mind has started to wander to other things, perhaps something that happened today or earlier this week. Just gently nudge it back to what you're doing. You're allowing yourself to release and let go, creating space for new, really good stuff. And you're lengthening the muscles in your body and allowing them to fully open. So often we do stretch out. We don't hold stuff long enough to really get into that fascia or the deep connective tissue. And so you really, can't start to really lengthen and get into your stretch as much as you need. So restorative, holding the poses for as long as we do just really allows you to get in there, and that's what makes it so challenging sometimes, especially if you are really tight in certain areas or you hold on to tension in certain areas. Deep breath in, big sigh out, let it go. On your next inhale, start to slowly come out, whatever shape you found yourself in, and you can move your props off to the side. Again, might feel really good to windshield wiper your knees if you just ground your feet and then move your knees from side to side. Might feel really good on your low back. And when you're ready, come to a tabletop position on your mat. And then knees out wide, toes tips to touch. And then come down for a child's pose. So you'll start to crawl your fingertips out towards the top of your mat, and I will let you know when we're halfway through. So if you want to get a really good upper body lat stretch, if you're really tight in your upper body, use your shoulder, start to crawl your fingertips over towards the right hand side of your mat, being mindful that your sit bones might come off of your heels a little bit, so just really try to ground them evenly towards your heels. And then you might want to bring the right side of your face to the mat instead of your forehead if you did crawl over to the right, if that feels better on your neck. Again, this is your class, so if you want to just take traditional child's pose for the full time, feel free to stay there. But whatever shape you're in, just really open up into this and close your eyes once you have found the shape that's going to work for you tonight. And just breathe deep. On every exhale, melt your chest closer to the floor. Ground your sit bones into your heels. Child's pose is a really great grounding pose. So if you have felt particularly anxious or you just have a lot going on, it's a really great one just to reset. You can always come to embryo pose by bringing your knees in together. If you're just having a hard time with your hips tonight or your knees are bothering you, embryo is always an option as well. take in the side variation. Take a deep breath and let it go. And on your next inhale, slowly make your way through center and then crawl your fingertips over towards the left side of your mat. And you can bring left side of your face down or your forehead down, whatever feels good to you. And then letting yourself get comfortable, again, closing your eyes, really breathing into your child's pose here. If you've stayed in the center, just hang out. Imagine that your chest can just melt even more into the mat on every exhale. And if you have not been paying attention to your breath, this is a really great opportunity to tune into that. So just feel the rise and fall of your belly as you hang out here and open up. Bring some mindfulness to your breathing. If you have noticed that you're shallow breathing or you're not really able to really focus on your breath, just really try to count your breathing. Make sure that your inhalations and your exhalations are even. So you can either count to, let's say, the number 5 on your inhale, and then you want to make sure that your exhale is the even amount of length so that you can release all of that air that you brought in so that you can make room for a new round. And slowing down our breathing really just helps us get ready for bed, winds us down. So often we breathe so much into our chest, and that can set a fight or flight response in our body and just more of a stressed state. So if you ever need some calming energy or just to really, calm down, if you've woken up in the middle of the night and you can't seem to go back to sleep, just really try to count your breath, see if you can lengthen it as you're relaxing there, give you something to focus on other than the thoughts in your head, the things that you need to do. Take a deep breath in and a full open mouth, sigh out, let something go. If you did take the variation, crawl your fingertips back to center. And then once everyone's there, just start to slowly come up to a tabletop position. And we are going to move into sleeping swan or pigeon. And you can always take frog, you can take this supine on your back. But in tabletop, you're gonna start to slide your right knee in towards your right wrist, and then bring your right ankle towards your left wrist. So your right shin should be parallel-ish to the top of your mat. And then you'll extend your left leg along behind you. Take a peek over your right shoulder just to set your hips equal to the mat, and then inhale, take your gaze up. Exhale, start to crawl yourself down to put your sleeping swan or pigeon to sleep. And this is a great opportunity to grab onto some props if you want for your face, your forehead, or just the side of your face. You want to put a pillow underneath your face there. If you want, you can always use your forearms as a pillow and just really bring your forehead down to the mat or to your prop or forearms. If you want to take this on your back, you can always just come down to your back and then make a figure 4 shape with your legs. You can bring it in towards your chest to get more of a deeper opening. So that's a really great option if you have any knee pain or you're just not feeling the hip opener tonight, if it's just too intense for you. You can come to any kind of variation. But once you have found the shape that you're gonna hang out in, just use your breath. You're likely not hanging out in pigeon throughout the week. I can't say that many people probably volunteer to do this pose on their own time. So you might be really tight, and that's okay. Especially if you've been sitting a lot this week, or you just haven't been doing a lot of movement, or if you've had a particularly stressful week. We often store a lot of our tension in either our hips or our upper body. So, you know, this might be a lot for you. You can always put a prop underneath your right hip. You can roll a towel or blanket underneath your right knee if you're having any knee pain. There's a couple options for you. But just see where you can soften, and you know, you might want to see if you can release the tension in your face. So if you're clenching your jaw or you are holding your breath in this pose, just really start to bring some awareness and attention there. And see where you can continue to open. We're already halfway through this side. So if you've been fidgeting up until this point, just try to stay still for the next couple minutes while we finish this side out. Every exhale, can you melt your chest just a little bit more towards the mat? Releasing tension. And one side's going to be a little bit tighter than the other, and this might be that side for you. So just breathe in, and on every exhale, just try to release and let something go. Very slowly on your next inhale, just start to make your way out of this side. So you might want to come back to tabletop. You can either extend your right leg back behind you, press into your toes, and just really stretch the whole backside of your right leg. And also take some knee circles in one direction, and then the other, just to bring some blood flow back to that side, whatever feels good to you. And then when you're ready, we're just gonna swap that out. So if you're on your back, you'll just switch to the other side. But when you're ready, you can just bring your left knee in towards your left wrist, and then bring your left ankle towards your right wrist, bringing your left shin parallel to the top of the mat, extending your right leg right behind you. And then take a quick peek over your left shoulder. Inhale, take your gaze up, puff up your chest, and then exhale, put your pigeon to sleep on this side. And as I mentioned, each side is different. So this might be a little bit more intense for you, or maybe the other side was worse. So you can smile a little bit knowing that this side isn't quite as intense. But just ground in, know that we won't be here forever. use your breath, close your eyes, send your breath to any areas of tightness in your body. So if you have a lot of tension in your hip area or your hip flexor, IT band, just send your breath there. Really trying to soften in. And to distract you, I'll tell you a little story. So you guys, some of you follow me on Instagram, so you already know that my son just recently started walking, like basically out of nowhere, because for the longest time we tried to get him to do it and he just wouldn't do it. He just decided over the weekend that he was now going to do it, but not only was he going to do it, but he's just mastered it overnight, basically. So he's walking everywhere now. I picked him up from daycare after work today, and he walked all the way from the room to the front door to greet me, which was so cool. But it was a really good lesson to myself and my husband, because, you know, we were like, when's this kid gonna do it? How do we get him to do it? And it's like he's gonna do it on his own time, and when it's right, it's gonna happen, and it's just gonna click for him. And I think that's a really good lesson to all of us when we're trying to make something happen or rush something along, or just when is something gonna happen for me? Just knowing that when the timing is right, or when it's supposed to happen, it will happen, and things will align. It will click one day. You'll master whatever it is that you're working on. Maybe it's a yoga pose. Maybe you've been really frustrated with your yoga practice and things that you're working on in yoga, and you're like, when am I going to get this? And then finally one day it's just going to click because you've been consistently working at it or just thinking about it. So, you know, as you're going through practice tonight, if there's things on your mind or things that are bothering you, just remember that when it's the right time, when things are supposed to happen, they happen. And I think, you know, it's such a simple lesson, but it's something that we can all kind of carry with us as we move on for our day and our week and 2020 in general and what's, you know, happening this year. So I wanted to share that friendly reminder with all of you. And we're already more than halfway through the side, so you're welcome for that lovely distraction through pigeon. Try to use your breath. Imagine that you can bring your chest just a little bit closer to the mat. Soften any areas of tension in your face. And if you are holding your breath or you've just totally forgotten about that, just bring yourself back. Try to bring some attention there. slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way out of this side. So you might want to do the same thing you did on the other side, or perhaps something else is calling your name, but you can just stretch your left leg back. Really dig your toes into the mat. Feel a good calf stretch, hamstring stretch, and take some hip circles out one way and then the other. Anything to bring some blood flow back to that side. And then come to a seat facing the long width of your mat. So it doesn't matter which side. And you'll also want to grab your pillows. So bring your left shin parallel with the long side of your mat that you're facing. And then you'll tuck your right knee in towards your right foot and then bring your right heel in towards your glutes. For this like cheerleader sit. You'll set up your pillows next to your left thigh, so towards the left side of your mat. And we're going to take deer pose if you haven't figured that out yet. When you're ready, you'll start to rotate your torso towards the left side of your mat, towards your props. And then this might be enough of a twist for you right now, and then maybe later on you can lower yourself down. If you want to get into the full deer pose, just start to curl yourself down so that your chest and your your face can lay down on your pillow or pillows. And then for the full twist, you can take your gaze over towards the left. If it's not comfortable for your neck or you just don't want to be that intense, you can go over towards the right. But either way, just come down to a comfortable position. Be in a deep twist here. So this is a really great one to really get into your low back, even in your hip area. And whatever shape you find yourself in, just close your eyes. Again, bringing some attention and awareness back to your breath. Allowing yourself to relax as much as you can in this shape. Twists are really good for giving ourselves a reset. So they massage our internal organs a bit. And typically you're not hanging out in a twist for as long as we're gonna hold ours. So it just gives your body a chance to rinse out in a different way. And then twists also really aid with digestion. So they're really good to do in the morning time if you are having issues with that. So remember that pro tip. Use your breath here, melt your chest closer to the earth on every exhale. And always bring your hand to your belly just to feel your breath here. You should feel a big opening in your left hip area, low back. And just see where you can soften. We're halfway through, so try not to fidget. If you do need to make any adjustments, you certainly can, but try to stay still to get the full benefits out of this twist on this side. Again, coming back to your breath. a deep breath in and a full sigh out. Let it go. Very slowly, when you're ready, start to make your way up to a seated position. And before we swap it out, just start to rotate over towards the right hand side just for a brief counter stretch. So you'll just look over your right shoulder, release that out, and then make your way back to center, and we will just swap that out. So it might be easiest for you to leave your props where they're at and then just face the other side of your mat. I'm going to switch mine to the other side so that I can face you guys still. So once you've got your props situated where you need them to, you'll take your right shin parallel to the side of your mat that you're facing, and then you'll tuck your left ankle in towards your glutes and bring your knee in towards your right foot. And then start to rotate your chest towards the right hand side. And again, this might be enough. And if not, you can start to crawl yourself down to your props on this side, making your way to your twist. And you can take your gaze over towards your the right side for the full twist, or keep it towards the left for a gentler variation. It's completely up to you. So whatever shape you find yourself in, just see where you can stay still. So if you're finding yourself fidgeting a lot, trying to get comfortable, you might need some additional props, or maybe you're just not quite in the right twist. Maybe you've come too far into your twist. Just try to get to a place where you can hold this for a few minutes. And that's gonna look different on this side. So just be mindful of that, be gentle with yourself as you get situated. And whatever shape you end up in, just close your eyes. Really try to melt your chest into your pillows or the mat as much as you can. And on every exhale, just release a little bit more. So just imagine that you're opening up here. You're allowing your body to fully get into this twist, to release what it no longer needs, to make space for so many good things. Let your breath help you get through this side. And sometimes I like to imagine when I'm in a twisting posture that it's like we're wringing out a dish rag or a wet towel, and all that extra water that you don't think is in there anymore, and then you try to wring it out again and you get that extra bit out. So just imagine that while you're in this twist, that you're getting out all that stuff that you no longer need to carry on with your day with, and that you're leaving it on your mat for you to wipe away at the end of class, and you don't need to carry that along with you for the rest of your evening. So that's just a really good visual to help you get into this twist a little bit more. And we're halfway through already, so try to stay still. If you've started to fidget or your mind has started to wander, just try to bring it back to your body, what you're doing here for yourself, and use your breath. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let it go. On your next inhale, start to make your way back up to a seated position. And then just take that counter twist by going over towards your left-hand side, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. And then when you're ready, you come back to neutral position. You'll move your props out of the way. And we are going to come down to our backs. And you'll want your props close by. So come down to your spine, any way that feels good to you, lowering all the way down. And then whatever prop you have, you can grab onto a book, a block. If you've got pillows, you can use those too, but we're gonna take supported bridge. So plant your feet firmly into the mat, and you'll want to reach your heels with your fingertips. That's how you'll know they're at a good length before you get into your bridge pose. Grab onto whatever prop you want. So if you've got pillows, that will feel good too. Lift your hips up on your next inhale, just enough to slide your prop underneath your low back or your sacrum area. And you can always test out if your block's in the right, or prop is in the right position by lifting your legs up all the way up to the ceiling. And then if you can release your hands and you're not falling all over the place, that's how you know it's in the right spot. So you might need to rework that a little bit. But bring your heels back down to the mat, and you'll just wiggle your fingertips to touch your heels just to make sure they're in the right spot. And once you have a good position with your body, you can bring your hands to your belly to just really pay attention to your breathing. You can bring them down to your mat, but just face your palms down so you can get a little bit more grounding. And then close your eyes. Just allowing yourself to enjoy this mini inversion so that your head is lower than your heart, so your heart doesn't have to do as much work to pump all that blood to your brain. And it just gives you a little bit of a reset and allows you to really start to pay attention to your breath and slow it down. So if you want to, you can start to count your inhales and your exhales. You can try box breathing by counting your inhales and your exhales, but then adding that same count. So let's say you count to the number 4 on your inhale, then you can hold full of air for 4 counts, and then exhale for 4, and then hold empty for 4. So you can just do that, and it's called box breathing because each side, when you hold either empty or full, or you're breathing in or you're out, it's the same amount of time that you're holding things for. And that really helps reset your entire body. So if you're having a really anxious moment, let's say your work day or just your day in general, you can try doing 2 rounds of box breathing, and you'd be amazed at how much calmer and grounded you'll feel if you just allow yourself to do it, and it will only take you a couple of seconds to do. So you can try it out now to really help you get ready for our Shavasana and just the end of our class and the end of your evening. It might really help you start to wind down, relax. Even just paying attention to your breath in general is really soothing, and bringing some mindfulness back to your body. Perhaps you just pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing and any sensations that you feel in your body, anything that you can touch. So you might feel the rise and fall of your belly, or the mat underneath your feet, the prop underneath your low back. Maybe you just can release and relax a little bit more. So if you are holding on to any areas of tension, maybe soften your face or release your shoulders on your back. 2 more rounds of breath here. If you're cozy here and want to hang out here longer, you're more than welcome to. But if you're ready to move on to a Shavasana shape, just lift your hips up enough to move your prop out of the way. And then you can bring your knees in towards your chest and maybe you sway gently from side to side. And then on your own time, when you're ready, you can come to your Shavasana. So you can extend your legs out long. You can even bring some pillows or some blocks underneath your knees. You take legs up the wall if you have a wall nearby and want to reset your body and just give yourself a break. Whatever shape you find yourself in, just see where you can soften a little bit more. So maybe you roll your shoulders down your back, bring your hands to your belly or to the ground. Soften all areas of your face. So if you're holding on any tension in your eyebrows or in your jaw, just see if you can soften. And then just really try to rest here in the next few minutes and enjoy your Shavasana. Shavasana is here for you as long as you have the time. So if you are enjoying your rest and want to continue to hang out in whatever shape you found yourself in this evening, just tune out my voice. I'll close out Zoom and you can continue to rest in your own space. But if you would like to reawaken enough just to move on with the rest of your evening, get into bed, finish up anything else you have to do, start to bring some awareness back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. And make your way to one side or the other just for a brief stop in fetal pose. Close your eyes here. Take a moment to collect yourself, to thank yourself for showing up for you tonight, for joining me on your mat. And on your own time, start to make your way to a neutral seat. Bringing your hands to heart center and then softly close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let it all go. Breathe in something good, something awesome that you still need for your week. And breathe out something that you no longer need. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you all so much and hope that you sleep so good tonight. Namaste.